All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the State of Scrims podcast. I'm joined here today by the Mason Jars. We are going
Hello.
to kind of discuss some things to hype up for the beginning of season five. We did get to see the Frostbite tournament, which had some of the teams in their full capacity, and we had some teams in a bit of a smaller capacity, not able to see their full rosters. So I think it will be kind of interesting to see how the full rosters of the teams kind of affect how they stack up as we move on to the season. Mason, do you have any takeaways from the Frostbite tournament?
All
Because
right, so
I
like
know you
here's
definitely watched every single game that we
so here's
streamed.
the secret. I didn't actually watch any of the Frostbite tournament. I have played with every player. I'm pretty sure, like a little bit. Wouldn't say extensively for some, but I definitely played a lot of signups before, so I think I have some knowledge on like where teams would place. I didn't watch any of Frostbite. I know how Spectres did because I'm in their team chat, but that's about it. So
Okay, so we're gonna
slacking on my
have we're
homework
gonna
to
have
do.
the enlightened takeover here. All the VODs watched and streamed twice over,
Okay.
and we're gonna have the absolute blind man's take on the
Yeah,
other
of course,
side.
of course.
Um,
What can I say?
so I guess we can kick it off with power rankings. Let me see if I can't figure out a way to kind of display what we're talking about. Might be a little cursed. Stream quality will improve at some point. Um,
DM.
yeah, so I'm gonna kick us over here, and
Hold on, let
um,
me write down a quick power rankings real quick. Actually,
we can also like create it as we go. Up to you.
yeah, that's true. We can do that. I'm down for that. Oh wait, I do need the results for the frostbite though. The tournament DM
Those should be posted somewhere.
somewhere.
See, we have the base GIMP stream. Very, very important here. Um,
Uh, is it in results? It's not in
um,
results. What is the point?
isn't it? It's in Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it is.
Mm.
Okay, okay.
All right, hold on. We will make this better aspect ratio. And then, wait, what the fuck did I just change? Oh, shit. Bit scuffed. Grade A Scrims production quality as usual. And
Uh,
then,
are the results
perfect.
posted on the website? Like the actual the game result, like the
No,
details of the game.
because the games weren't logged because they're blind pick slash unofficial. All right.
Okay, that's
Oh, I
fine.
have the fucking Valorant Pirates font set up instead of the Scrims font. That would be funny.
So,
But no, we're not doing that actually.
okay.
Um, if you want, you could probably pull up the VODs and then just do it that way.
I mean, I will probably watch the VODs at some point. TM, don't quote me on that. But
All right.
also, I think we should also. I know like uh the team rankings probably matter a little more, but I do want to talk about meta a little bit first because I think actually like the game meta will actually determine some of the power rankings for me a little bit because as next patch comes around, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a more bot lane centric meta with like the way they're changing items like Infinity Edge, uh, and like Navori Quick Blades, and it's going to be a lot more
Mhm.
bot centric meta. And like currently in like jungle meta, I think there's a lot more talk about how it is more tank centric. Like the three best junglers right now are like Udyr, Maokai, Zac, I believe.
That
It's
sounds
like
right.
those three,
Yep.
and then there's a bunch of other junglers right now. Actually, let me. I think, in my opinion, it's like Wukong and stuff like AD bruisers that like have high utility regardless of like how ahead they are in like
Mhm.
the game state. And Wukong provides like the double ulti, the utility knockups, and stuff like that.
I
But it's
really
like
appreciate whenever you lead 40, go to the Shadow Realm.
I really do. It's kind
Yeah.
of funny, but
Yeah, I Yeah, I think the
I
shift
am.
away from some of the tanks in the jungle could definitely benefit some of the teams who have higher skill junglers. And I think
Yeah.
definitely some of the bot lane changes would do the same for player or teams with high skill AD carries,
Yeah.
such as the team
Uh,
with the first team all scrims AD carry from the previous season. Smile.
true. True. Actually, I also think. What else was there? I think there's like other changes to like some minor champions like Lilia. There's champions like Kassadin
You
and
see, you say Lilia and all the patch notes, and you're like Wiwia. That shit
okay,
kills
true.
me.
That was kind of base though. I don't know, man. But
It's okay. It's not as good as Nunu and William was, to be honest.
that's true.
That was like god tier.
Yeah. But there's like a lot of changes in mid lane right now. The two best like mid laners are like Rise and Kassadin and all these
So you're saying
Roa
Spectres are just
Seraphs.
gonna win because Anne can just play Rise, right?
That is the theory. That
So
is the theory.
true.
And it is a bot centric meta, and they have two of the arguably best AD carries in the league. TM.
Okay, but where was Teddy's first team all scrims last season? And
That would imply
you can't even be like support holding him back because he had the same support.
this is true. This is true. I don't know. Maybe Teddy's lost, bro. That's a different conversation, though. TM.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I think anyway we can talk meta later. I do think noting the shift from power away from like top lane and jungle to the AD carry position does matter.
Yeah. I
Do you
just wanted to
wanna?
put that out there
Yeah.
because
Do you
it
have
matters a lot.
anything in mind off the top of your head? I don't think,
Uh, in terms of like who I put number one,
or just any of the positions.
I think it's a very close like in the first three positions. I think it's really close between Valorants, Pirates, Spectres, and Rift Sharks. In my
Okay.
opinion, I do actually think Valorant Pirates is probably going to take regular season. Like they have very strong candidates in top. Like even though they're shifting away from top side, I think Will is a very good ADC. They have a really good support. Valor can play like a lot of different styles. Mid lane, who is their jungler again? Jackson.
Jackson.
Jackson's like okay at jungling. He has a pretty decent like tank jungle pool, and I think tank junglers are going to be a lot stronger than like some of the more carry oriented stuff. And then, uh, what's their top laner's name? Heroic. I
Yes.
just think he's like a really good solo lane player.
Yep.
He
So
could also
annoying
play ADC if they
to play
wanted to.
against.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think it's a very solid team overall.
Mhm.
I will say, due to like the shift in like into like a bot lane centric meta, I do think Spectres is actually going to come in second this season. Uh, I will say it's very close between them and Rift Sharks. I know Rift Sharks did beat them in the earlier season, but I think that is because they played.
Fastest game of the tournament too. By the
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
like
yeah. I will say putting Hog on Lucian is the most troll shit I've ever seen in my life, but that is a completely different
certainly
conversation.
TSA would not troll a finals by doing
Yeah,
that.
of course not. Of course not. Hog would never. Hog would never. He is my go ADC for sure. I would never not trust him in a game five, surely. Anyways, and then I think Rift Sharks is my third. I think they have Healy and Dean bot lane, which is like a very strong bot lane. Jonah is replacing me on that team, which I played for last season. It's like the same shell. I think Michael has leveled up a lot as a top laner,
Hard
but I
agree.
do think the shift away from top lane is going to hurt him as a player a lot. So I'll have to see how that works. And then who is their mid laner?
Dude, our lineup could be like literally anything. We have so many.
If it's Joel, I think it's a wrap. There's like a bunch of different options they have for mid lane as well. I'm just really hyped for
Drago, we
that
could
team
put
as well.
Zach mid. We could flex Healy mid. There's a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
guys
things
have
we
a
can
lot
do.
of options, so I think you guys are a solid contender as well. I think it's like really close between these three though.
Gotcha. All
And
right.
then yeah, I'll
Do,
let you go for your top three as well.
oh,
Go for
okay.
it.
Um. You see, I feel like I'm gonna do like what they do in like LCS, where it's like you have to just like put your team first, because otherwise you're trolling, right? I mean,
Cringe. Kind of cringe, but okay.
okay. I
I
mean,
respect that.
like, do I like have no faith in my team? Does my
I mean,
co-caster just disappear into the fucking void? Could happen.
I moved to like the other hold on, like my camera is so weirdly centered right now. Like, hold on.
Anyway, I think what we were doing very late in the
There we
season
go.
on King Grooming Services last season kind of showed the value of being able to flex your roster around. And I
Mhm.
think while there are other teams who have deep rosters that can kind of do things with that, I think we have like a very solid roster, and there's like probably 10 to 15 lineups that we can play. So I
Hmm.
think having the ability to kind of learn throughout the season what we can run against certain teams is
Okay.
going to be really helpful. I think what we can do in like the first half of the season could go well, could go poorly, but I think we'll be able to learn a lot from that and have a really strong way to finish it out. I
Okay.
think my biggest fear for our team would be that we figure out the tech for the second half of the season, and then everyone else figures out the tech in playoffs, which puts us in a pretty bad spot. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will
I
say
think there's a lot we can
picking
do.
up the old shell from Kitten's grooming service, that was like a very flexible shell.
Hmm.
So like we'll have to see if they can continue to adapt as a team or if they've hit their ceiling type beat. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do MVP as my second.
okay.
I was not thinking this going into Frostbite, but I honestly think MVP of haha, no pun intended. But I think the best player in Frostbite, in my opinion, was Aya. I think the amount of like support, gameplay, and like flexibility we saw was pretty insane. I think
Okay.
my take before would have just been like Hong or Rex bot lane slams,
Okay.
but I am not sure if like their previous losses to Spectres, because they are 0-2 into that team, were just because of like blind pick. But I think being able to
Mhm.
kind of draft and play around like their support and then try and funnel their solo lanes is a very good strategy. And I think it shows that they
Okay.
have a bit more of like a well-rounded map than other teams would necessarily have. I also think having your strongest players in like the lane carry positions and having some of your like less strong players in like AD carry and jungle can actually work out quite well. I think the only way that this could work out poorly is if the AD carry meta shifts like super crazy, and then it'll be a huge buff for Spectres, and I think it might hurt MVP a little bit, just because like Will's champion pool is kind of easy to ban out. So if we don't see him like start learning a bunch of new champions, I think the meta shift could help him on some of his champions, but he might not be able to get them. Is my
Okay.
fear. And then honestly, hot take here, but this is my third. We're gonna put
Okay.
Andromeda in third.
I
I
like that.
think we didn't get to see a great showing, but we also didn't get to see Andromeda's full roster during any draft games because they didn't make it to the bracket stage of the tournament, and their
Okay.
blind pick games were like nuts. But a lot of the strength that this team has, I think Alana mentioned this, and I think Cam mentioned this when we interviewed both of them, is that they have a lot of flex potential on their roster. Like you can lock in a champion, and it could be three different people playing it in like four different positions. So you really don't know what you're
Okay.
getting against them, and I think they will be able to manipulate that in draft. And it should secure them a lot of wins against teams that are just mechanically worse than them. And I think they'll be able to grab series off of higher players. I think I also just have a lot of faith in Stanley as a player, and having the ability to kind of not be stuck in the same position that he was last season, where he was like the number one carry on their team that he was being relied on, and he can
Yeah.
kind of play second fiddle to like Dave or Cam or Adam in this
Okay.
team. I think that'll
Okay.
benefit him a lot. Adam's top lane has been really good. I think maybe if we see less Zeri top lane, I think he could perform a little bit better.
He did. He did a little. He did be. He was a little silly in a lot of
But
his like sign up games and stuff. So I do kind of agree. They do have a very strong top side. I like this placement.
yeah, all right, and then
I guess I'll go next. I think I'd
yeah,
probably have to put Andromeda fourth for the reasons you probably stated before already. I think there's a world where they could slam top lane and like they have like a lot of options. Like Cam can like flex bot lane. He can like play mid. He's also been playing a bit of jungle, stealing all of my champions, which I would never do to him, obviously. But it's like there's like a lot of different avenues in which they can play the game. They had like some creative drafts, like last season. It's like some of the Mima's team members, and they're like a very unique way of drafting. I don't know
mhm.
if it helped them every time, but it's like that some of that volatility could help them a lot. And like, what else was there? They did like the Ornn Senna bot lane one game versus us, and that was like actually a pretty good swap.
Yeah, that was
I
annoying.
think that was Sam's idea, but like
Yeah,
if they learn and adapt from that, I think that's a very valuable tool for them.
yeah. I
And
think if
I
we
think
see
that's just
less
where I
of the
placed them.
like catazillion and more of like actually
the
like
orange Senna stuff
the
like
the
that.
Victor
Yeah,
Nami looked really good. The Orange
yeah,
Senna looked really good. I think if you just don't end up in bot lanes where you just can't interact with the other team, whether that's blind pick or just going for something that doesn't really work,
yeah.
I think that will improve them a lot. And
Agreed.
if I see one more blind pick Samira, holy shit.
No, no, I agree. Please blind pick Samir every game cam. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It simply must be blind picked. I promise.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go on and just fill in specters. Um,
Okay.
I feel like I could be like crazy and put him down below, but I mean the 80 carry power shift with the items, and they have Hong and Rex. I can't put him any lower than this, so
Yeah,
I think it
I
kind of
tend to
explains
agree.
itself.
Uh, I will say I think I put the New York Nutbusters fifth. I think having Blake as your top side player, even though they are swapping to a more bot lane centric meta coming up soon, I think it's like you can't underestimate Blake as a player. Gangplank is like a super strong champion. He has played the Cassidy before as well. I don't know if he's ever uh coming back to like mid lane and playing like these kinds of things. His team has also like shown a willingness to play around the way he plays or the way he wants to draft. So
Mhm.
I'm pretty excited to watch them play out. I think Taxi also is like a very good mid lane player. I played with him a couple
Yep,
of games. He seemed very solid, pretty reliable as a carry. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. I know they have Doki as a sub. I think Doki was like a decent jungle player. Definitely functions better with like high powered solo lanes and stuff. So we'll have to see if he's able to like make a difference with it. Because like he did force out a couple silent bans in like the times he played like sign
true.
up scrims. So I think it's like stuff like that has a lot of value. Mike was also a really good jungler. He started showing up a little bit in like the sign up stuff and like some of the bigger scrims. So I think they could. I think like 2 through 5 are like pretty flexible. I think MVP is gonna take it, but I don't know. I think this is like a very close list. Like I don't think any of these teams are like ultra gapped by the others. So
Yeah, I think that's fair. And that sentiment kind of was echoed a lot throughout the tournament. I know when Valor and I were casting towards the end,
yeah,
we were talking about how season seems pretty close. There aren't going to be any teams who kind of like super wipe.
yeah,
And I do think Doki is really strong. My concern there is Mike is like, at least when I sub for their team and my experience playing with him and against him,
uh huh,
he kind of has like the X factor on their team. Like obviously
yeah,
Blake is like a wild card, right? And he has
mhm,
like super hit or miss games, and that can kind of decide their
yeah,
fate. But I feel like Mike you can't ignore, and I think if you are ending up like subbing him or someone out for Doki, because I imagine Doki would probably just end up in the jungle. I think the
yeah,
other possibility is I think he has top listed as one of his roles, so he could go top, and then Blake would
yeah.
end up just filling in wherever.
They could do like the sword and shield kind of dynamic that we had last season, but for jungle. Because I think
Yeah,
Doki's tank gameplay was actually pretty solid. He knows what he's doing on champions like Zac and stuff like that. And then like Mike has shown more tendency towards like the carry junglers, the Rengars, the Elise, the stuff like that. So I think that could also be interesting. And I guess I'll just go ahead and fill in
well,
Metabusters as
yeah.
my sixth. I'm sorry, Noam. I'm not a believer, bro. You have Jacob and yourself in bot lane. It's just not working for me,
That's
dog.
not what they're
I would.
doing, bro. Noam is the
It's not.
jungler. It's
Oh,
Silico
no, I'm
Jacob bot
jungling.
lane.
It's
Adiri mid
who?
lane.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't watch the tournament. My bad, bro. I do hate you, Jacob. I'm your number one hater. Let it be fucking known, man. Please improve as a player before you speak to me. On God. Anyways, jokes aside, they have Silico on their team, right?
Yeah,
I think there's
that's
like
why
a
I'm gonna put them fifth.
That's fair. Like I can see that as well. It's like Silica is like an X factor player. He has a lot of carry potential. He's played a lot of scrims. He has like a very unique champion pool that you do have to pay some lip service to, like champions like Timo. I think he's been playing a lot. He played like a lot of Casante. That champion's also really good.
Yeah.
Uh, there's just like a lot of things that you have to watch out for in that team. So I'm pretty excited to watch this season though. So
Yeah, I mean, I think my takeaways for my last two picks, New York Nutbusters, I think is really good. I think they're just like they're kind of missing some of the like insane players that we have on some of the other teams. But this is
yeah,
like you have a group of people who are coming into the server. I think
yeah, they're
they're
newer.
going to be
So
really scary. Like next season is my prediction. I hope they prove me wrong. I think it'd be really cool if they were able to pop off. Obviously, we
Season one.
didn't see PB play in the tournament, so
Hmm.
I think that is something that we're missing. And when I've played with him, he has like a lot of knowledge about the game.
Yeah, he's a
And
great
like,
support player.
yeah,
I
he
played with
like
him as well.
always
So
knows the right pick to play, and he's willing to play like any
yeah,
of the champions. So it's gonna be hard to draft against that there. And we
yeah.
also did get to see some of the synergy between Alex and Taxi. I
Uh,
think I just don't necessarily know how well Alex and PB are going to synergize.
mhm.
And I do think that while PB is a very good support, I think the ADC changes could hurt the Nutbusters. And the reason I'm
Yeah.
putting Metabusters fifth is this team got fourth in, or like they placed into the seeding, I believe third after the Swiss rounds.
Okay.
I think honestly, my take on this team is that they got the most lucky in the blind pick. Like, I think they were able to scrape some things out. I do think it's really hard to really rate where they are without Silico. I would
Yeah.
put them higher if Silico could play every game. But I think we've all figured out at this point that his schedule is kind of a bit all over the
Gapped
place.
by schedule, TL.
Right. So I think they do have potential to make a playoff run if they're able to make playoffs. And I do think since we've heard that there's going to be some more off meta stuff going throughout the season, I think it could get a little bit rocky.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how much they're going to lean into the off meta stuff versus not. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I do think all these teams have a lot of potential. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be able to predict the outcome of the season right at the beginning, except the number one spot.
Of
I
course, of
hope
course.
I'm right about that one.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But yeah. If you have no other thoughts on this, we can hop into the meta for this season if you
I
want.
don't think I have any other takes on this. I did kind of want to talk about the subs a little bit that are
Oh
sitting
yeah.
on the side. I'm listed as a sub for Spectres for what it's worth. If you want my bias, I can never sub for that team mathematically, but I think it's funny to point out. I think Suki being subbed for Spectres is also one of the reasons I put them in second. He did show like a lot of dominance in like mid lane or like jungle stuff. So it's like I think that's the reason I put them over like Andromedas and Rift Sharks. But it's like I can see the same logic being applied to like Rift Sharks and stuff. So uh who else is subs right now?
What do you mean? Rift Sharks has a bunch. We have four subs.
Yeah, for the other teams, I mean.
Oh, Andromeda has Adam's technically a sub for Andromeda, but they have Russ, Manny, and I
Yeah.
believe Dominic as their subs. And
Okay.
then the Metabusters has Garrett is one of them. Brewer is on there, and I believe there is someone else too. I can actually just pull this up on my other monitor.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Andromeda
I'll talk about
has Dominic, Manny. The Valorant Pirates have Steve, Casper, and Wolf. The Metabusters have Joey, Garrett, and Brewer. Joey's who I was forgetting. And then I believe that sums everything up. And then Caesarius is the only one that you haven't mentioned for Spectres.
oh, that's true. I forgot about Cesaris. I won't lie. But like I think Garrett being a sub for Meta Busters is kind of good. I think he's like a decent weak side bot lane player, so there's that. I think you said Joey was a sub for Meta Busters as well, right?
Yes.
I think Joey being a sub is like really good for their team as well. He has like a very flexible jungle pool, good top lane pool as well, plays a lot of the tanks. And if you're gonna start like weak siding your top side, I think that could be like a lot of value. Uh yeah. I think that's really it though. That's all I got.
Yep. All right. I am going to pull up some stats. If I can get this to scale right. I think it makes sense to kind of look at what's been played during the offseason for scrims. I know this
Yeah.
might not necessarily be super reflective of the meta.
Yeah, I could pull up
Um,
some lucky stats just for like
yeah,
another baseline we can run real quick.
yep. I think this is not going to fully fit, but this should be good enough. I think I'm doing this right. Yeah, I don't know.
What's the website Rex told me?
All right, but anyway, uh, of all time, we actually have like Seraphine, Nami, Silas, Zach, Kane as our top. But if we looked at just season five, Nami and Silas are still really high up there, and Zach kind of falls down a little bit. But
Yeah.
Kane's basically nowhere to be found.
This
Have there
season?
have there been any Kane games at
I
all?
don't think so. I think in terms of like jungle strength, I think Kane has fallen off a fucking cliff. This champion, with the recent buffs to like clear speed, I don't think you can really effectively play this champion anymore.
Oh wait, never mind. There's
Uh
16. He's actually higher than Zach. I'm just blind. Uh, oops.
I think my point still are for season 5. This
Yep.
was last season, right?
This is like the end of last season going into preseason. So this
Do
is
you have the
last
preseason
few months.
stats?
Well, season five like is this season, so these are all the games that have been played since the end of playoffs.
Okay. Um,
So this is across a lot of different patches, but
okay. I will say going into the next patch, I think Kane is a lot weaker. Also, like the win rate is like 44%. That's all me, baby. I'm out here tanking the Kane win rate for all of my Kane enjoyers in the server. What can I say?
yo 0 for 3 in the off season.
What can I say? I'm the fucking Kane GOAT, baby. Anyway, this champion fucking sucks dick. Don't play it, please. There are so many better junglers. He gets outpaced in the early game, and he kind of just doesn't scale anymore, red or blue. I think both forms are kind of bad right now. Even though it's like a tank meta, he just doesn't do enough damage compared to like other champions. Oh, I do think Silas actually in the jungle has some potential. Especially for teams that can flex like a Silas mid jungle flex. I think this pick will have like a lot of potential power inside those two roles.
Yeah, it looks like our strongest jungle champions so far, just based on like number of wins. So I feel like that's a good stat to look at, just because
Yeah,
it's a nice combination of like pick rate and win rate.
yeah,
Kane obviously suffering a bit in the win rate department, so maybe not the strongest, but Silas is looking pretty good. Mordekaiser's looking pretty solid. Viego's a bit lower down there, but not looking terrible either. I know he's been popping up a bit in pro play. G2 especially has been prioritizing him.
yeah.
And then we have the Zac and the Udyr that we mentioned. Mal-
Udyr's weak. Don't bother with
Maokai
that
is
one. Jeez.
actually pretty far down here, but he is 100% win rate. And like a 10 KD throughout the preseason is kind
Yeah,
of disgusting. So I
I don't know if any of our jungle players don't have enough ego to lock in that champion, but like, or it's like
well,
they have too much
Jackson's
ego
been
to lock in
playing
that
it,
champion.
so
TM, but
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if
And
I'm
there's
playing jungle, I'll play it. Like,
okay, nice. I think there's like a weird like trinity in the jungle for like solo queue though. It's like Zach Udyr, Maokai, like I was talking about earlier. I think Udyr does the best into all both of them, right? But he has
mhm,
like more like losses in terms of like overall matchups and like a widespread like in like versus the field he's like a bit worse, but he has
right.
really good matchups into the two meta ones. So that's why I'd say he's probably like the best one. And then
Yeah, that
Zach
makes
has like
sense.
the most utility out of all three of them. Lots of CC, lots of long range engage, lots of damage right now. He's a bit overtuned. Somehow is dodging nurse. Don't ask how that's happening, but I think he just has like the most like dive potential, and I think that's going to be more useful in like this long range ADC meta that we're probably headed into. Like I think
Mhm.
ADCs will be like a lot more valuable, so you want that sort of like long range engage so that they can't get away kind of thing.
Yep.
Uh, Maokai is getting nerfed next patch, so I'm not sure if he'll continue to be
Please
like
gut
this
this
top tier
champion.
threat.
Just remove him
Yeah,
from the game. Like, oh
it's
my
probably like the
god.
easiest one by far because it's literally just a point and click WCC. Like there's literally no brain power that has to go through your head when you're locking in this champion. You
Oh
like
my god.
walk into them and press W with your fucking demonic embrace radiant virtue unkillable ass. Like it's actually the most silly thing on planet Earth, and I'm glad they're nerfing this champion.
Yeah, all I'm saying is
In
if
terms,
I'm jungling, I'm playing none of these fucking tank champions. You're seeing Bel'Veth,
yeah,
you're seeing Echo, you're seeing Gragas, who is a tank. Full AP though, so
yeah,
take that. Fiddlesticks, Kindred. Fun champions. Udyr, Zac, Maokai. I sleep. Boring. However, I
Veg,
will say they're probably going to be the most picked throughout the season. I think Udyr's
yeah,
up there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of Graves. We've seen some Elise come out during the tournament. I don't know if that's going to be continued because we didn't have it get played too much.
yeah.
Hopefully, we've seen the death of Master Yi. He's 0-2 going into the season. 2.5, 11.5,
This
and
champion ain't
4.
it, dog. I know I played a lot of this
I'll give a
champion
little
last season.
spoiler. One of them was me, and the other was the other jungler on my team. So if you see our team locking Master Yi, you gotta hope to God it's like top
It's the
lane
win
or
trade.
some shit,
We
right?
will take your PayPal immediately. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I think
No one played a game of Akali Jungle. Just to answer the question in chat, it was not worth remembering. Don't look at it. It's not pretty. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I just don't
Cassante
think.
jungle is a bit interesting.
Yeah, I think that has some potential. I think you were right though. The death of Master Yi is probably on our hands.
Thank
This
God.
champion kind of sucks. Uh, so much CC in the game right now. Like you can't afford to have your jungler on like this strong carry champion. I will say I don't think we'll see a lot of Hecarim. This champion has also been like ultra gutted.
Yeah.
IMO. He's like super bad into all these tanks. You want to build like this assassin build. You need like a lot of gold to snowball. I think there's like a lot of.
Okay,
I think this
this is the one thing I do want to point out though is a bit off meta, but I think we might
of
see
Aatrox
some
jungle.
Aatrox jungle. Dude,
Yeah,
Mike is crazy on this pick. I think
yeah,
that
I
will
do
come out.
respect that.
I disagree with you on the point that you can't put resources towards
I
like
think that's a lot less
to your
valuable,
jungle.
but
I
yes.
think you can do it. I think you need to be careful with what champions you do. I think you need champions with a bit of durability, like something like the
Yeah,
Bel'Veth or the Aatrox or the Echo that don't get like one popped and then they're just gone like the E.
yeah,
Like I think Nidalee is also in like a kind of weird spot. I know that's a champion that's gotten played a little bit, but something like a
mm,
carry Diana or like a Kindred, like those champions are pretty fine right now. Because they do have
yeah,
like a safety net on it. Diana has shields in her kit; she can build kind of bruisery, and Kindred
yeah,
obviously with the ultimate. And
mm,
Graves I think is another really good one. He's pretty durable, and can
mm,
kind of survive CC, but is still a very good carry champion.
yeah. I will also point out the Rengar. Mike's like a really good Rengar player. You do have to pay a little bit of lip service to him in
Yeah,
this, I think, jungle meta. Uh, what other lanes are there?
score
I
lines
think we
them
should
up.
probably.
I don't know, pick a lane. We'll go there.
I guess we can hop to top lane because
Oh
I
no, Orin Casante.
I want to talk about this. So
Jesus.
there's this funny. Okay, Blake says it's a tank meta. I will agree it is a tank meta in scrims. In solo queue, you are picking Jax, you're picking Fiora, and you're picking these like percent HP champion, HP damage champions, and you're fucking 1v9 in the game. Stop fucking lying to people and saying it's a tank meta, bro. These champions get fucked. These champions fucking pissed at tank champions. There's no fucking competition when it's champions like Jax. There's the GP as well. Thank you for pointing this out, dude. This champion is also fucking illegal as hell. Does so much fucking damage. We have like three prolific GP players, I think. I don't fucking
Michael
know.
is
This
5 and
champion's
0
gross.
on Singed though.
Sure, Michael
Sheesh.
is 5-0 on the Sims. That's kind of pog. I think that'll be like a fun champion to watch out for.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know if he's
also,
necessarily like in our meta, but Michael plays it, so we should see some of it at some point.
yeah,
Hopefully.
there is the Ornn. This champion is like solo, like not a solo queue all star, but definitely a all star in like weak siding your top laner. Has like a lot of utility brought to team fights. It's like a comp all star, literally like perma picked in pro play and shit.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
I think Fiora and Darius are up here, but they were really
Yeah,
strong at the end of last season. Kind of going into preseason, I think they've definitely fallen out a little bit. I don't expect to see too much of them. Um,
I think I think I'd
Darius
actually
is more
disagree on
present
this.
than Fiora, I think. I mean, I
Yeah,
just don't know if we like Avery will play Fiora. We're going
I
to see
think
an
it's just
Avery
like a player
Fiora game.
dependent. Yeah,
I don't think Fiora is going to be super prevalent.
yeah,
Darius will probably see a lot of these Malphite set Camille. We
yeah.
have how do we have 5 Zac? Oh, it's all Doki. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say
I was
Doki was a
like,
prolific top lane player,
yeah,
top Zac player.
I think I
Zac
just
is also
missed all
good in the
those
top lane,
games,
so
but yeah. Yeah, I think we are likely going to see a lot more of these like bruisers, and that means that Camille and GP and Fiora are all going to be super common too, because they're very easy to
yeah,
like slam into a tank or tanky your champion and kind of deal with it. So
yeah.
I think that they're going to be pretty high prio.
Mhm.
Mundo hopefully is fucking banished and we'll never see him again,
Sure.
or at least
Uh,
like he'll be okay, very situational.
yeah.
But I
All
do
right.
think top lane's kind of still, so we can swap over to the other solo
Mid.
lane if we want.
Yeah. Let's do mid then.
Silas, it's just gonna be
Game boy.
Silas, right? Like,
I I think the value in our I think the value in the Silas pick, at least nowadays, is its potential jungle flex. If you look at the jungle games, I have played a fair amount of jungle Sylas games. I do think this champion has like a lot of potential in like a double flex or in
Yeah,
like a flex position. You can flex it into top lane for the Ornn matchup as well. There's like a lot of value in this champion. I don't know if it'll be blind pickable, but we'll have to see. We do have to pay lip service to Stanley's Victor and stuff like that. That champion is
yep,
very strong in current meta as well. Only 50% win rate. Doesn't talk about the van rate versus it. It's like the same thing as my Udyr.
true. I mean, also, I think all time it's a bit better than
Yeah,
I think. Here we can check. All time the victor is 53%, so a bit over
yeah.
half, but um,
Still
yeah.
pretty impressive, I
It,
will
it
say.
looks like it's probably. I don't think mid meta shifted too much. I think the Roa and Archangel's changes are actually going to favor Kassadin, Ryze, Sindric,
Yeah,
Cassiopeia. Those are the big
yeah.
ones that I think of. And I think Twisted Fate just got buffed, and Roa is pretty good on him too. So I'd
Agreed.
expect to hopefully see some more TF. I think it's fun. Like I think TF is kind of boring in pro play because like everyone plays him, but
Uh-huh.
he actually doesn't enter the scrims meta that much. So if we get to see some
Yeah,
TF plays, I think that would be pretty cool. I'm expecting to
yeah.
see a lot of these like actually really fun champions to watch, like Vex, Ari, Yasuo,
Yeah, I'm hoping for
Silas.
more
I,
Yasuo.
I
I
think we'll
think there's like a
probably
lot
see a
of
lot
jungle
of that.
champions that synergize with Yasuo as well, and
Hmm.
like a potential bot lane flex. I know that's like that's a lot more fringe, but
Yeah.
like I think it's worth mentioning because like his Axe in the meta, Ornn's in our meta, Wukong is a decent champion, Diana's a really good champion. I think Yasuo definitely has his spot
Yeah, I think
for play.
mentioning
So
Ornn, he actually is like a decent Ornn counter pick in the top lane. But we're losing lanes here at this point. But yeah, I
yeah,
think mid meta is kind of just whatever you want. I think we'll see a lot from it, so it's kind of hard to predict.
yeah,
Syndra really good. That's something to
yeah.
watch
I
out
think
for.
Valor played a lot of it
Yeah,
last season as
hasn't
well.
been
So
performing super well recently. But I think
yeah,
we can just chalk that up to unlucky games, and I think she'll
yeah.
probably be performing better soon. Or I'm completely wrong, and we just suck at Syndra in this server, so
That's true.
maybe
That
not.
is true.
I
Okay.
think we'll look at uh, let's look at AD carry first because it's probably gonna change.
Israel. Cringe. Anyways,
Okay,
um,
he's finally 50% win rate. If we look all time on this Ezreal pick, 44%. Why do we suck at Ezreal?
this champion
I
is
mean,
not good
I'm a
if you're in.
culprit. I'm a culprit. I admit.
Yeah, you are part of the problem. I understand. This
Okay,
champion is sus.
but
TLDR.
first of all, explain to me how we lose this game. Blake's
Uh,
power definitely didn't go out, so it was a 4v5 for the past 15 minutes.
no way, no way.
Certainly not. That would never have happened. But yeah. Speaking of all-time stats, Jin, Jesus Christ, 37% win rate. Ugh.
What's going on?
Okay, okay,
um,
this one I am not a culprit of. If we look at the Jin, 77% on 13 games, okay? I cannot
it's
be
kind
held
of crazy.
accountable for Jin.
And Ezreal, true. Uh, I think if we want to go back to like last season or like what
I
I
mean,
think the meta will be going in and like
I
right now,
think these 4/5 champions are what we want to be looking at.
uh, Kaisa, Varus, Lucian, Ashe, and Twitch.
Yes.
I think
I
Lucian is
think
falling
these
off.
two will come back in. I
Yeah,
mean, Lucian Nami has been like the pick to play for a very long time, and we have a lot of Nami players in our server. And I think
that's
the
true.
changes for Navori are actually going to benefit Lucian too.
Yeah, I will agree.
So I don't necessarily expect to see which 80 carries that are good is going to change too much. I just think the way
Yeah,
you itemize on 80 carries is going to be different.
agreed.
So it should be a bit more flexible, but I don't think like I think the mana changes are going to be nice, so I think it's going to change the way you lane. I forget
Uh,
which champions are specifically getting mana buffs, but I think whichever they are, I think Caitlyn and Ashe I saw. Don't necessarily remember the other
yeah.
ones, but I think those champions who are getting touched will kind of move up a little bit. I think
There is
it's
some conversation about Zeri as well.
yeah,
I think this champion might be coming back. It's like really strong in pro play. It did just get nerfs, so I don't know if it'll
right.
stick
Like
around.
and she's getting nerfed next patch too, so it's
Oh,
like
she's getting double nerf. Never mind.
I'm pretty
Ignore this
sure.
champion.
Or I think the patch is coming out on Wednesday. She's getting nerfed.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
see then.
yeah, but I
Uh,
feel like she was decent, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like she had her window to shine and it kind of fell off.
We
I
played
am
no
interested to
Nyla
see
games.
if we'll get more of these champions down here, like these early aggro champs. But I think it'll kind of have to wait till
Yeah,
the meta kind of progresses.
Yeah.
And I think these more consistent hyper carry champions are what we're going to see a lot of. We also
Yeah.
just have a lot of good Kaisa players, and a lot of our just generally good players have started playing more Kaisa. So that's something to
That's
look at.
true.
And then I think the same thing goes for Varus. And then Lucian, Ashe, and Twitch, like kind of anyone can play those champions. They're not necessarily super difficult. And I'd say the same for Sivir and Zaya, at least at a level 2 you're outputting damage, which is what you really need to do.
Yeah.
Twitch is probably the hardest out of these bottom 5 champions. Lucian, you need
Hmm.
some hands, but if you have a Nami, you need like one of your 2 hands. So I don't
Kind of
know.
true. Kind of true.
Yeah, because I feel like
Uh,
Nami's putting in the legwork in that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
We will
think
have
we
to see
can.
if Jin pops up as well. I think there's like some avenues for Jin because like IE is getting better as like a second
Okay,
item. I know this
why,
win rate looks horrible. We don't talk about that,
dude,
but it's like
why does everyone in their like, why do we just default Jin and just like, oh, like
champion's not
Caesarius,
hard, right?
great game, good job, congratulations. Steve, same thing. This looks okay. This is weird. This game is confusing to me.
Hong's
This,
Italy, Monka.
oh yeah.
Okay, close out, close out, close out. We didn't see this. We didn't see this. Don't worry.
Okay, we'll go back to the Jin and then we'll look at
Um,
Caesarius' game. Very clean. Ugh, ooh,
kind of bish.
ugh. Okay, for some reason, Jin is like the single most snowballing Scrims bot laner.
Uh, do we want to pay lip service to Draven at all? Like, I think this champion does have like some potential as an ADC in like certain players' hands, but like, I don't know if we really want to talk about it that
Yes,
much.
especially oh my god, my Draven game was last season. It's not on here.
True, true, true.
My single worst Scrims performance of all time has been I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah,
think Rex is someone to watch out for. I think
yeah.
these
In
other
terms of
players
his game
have
play.
a good Draven, but I think it really needs to be the right game for it. The one
Yeah,
person besides Rex who's Draven I would look out for is Eric's, but
yeah. That's like,
I don't know. I
I
feel like
don't.
he was stronger earlier. I think it
Yeah,
really depends how the meta lays out.
yeah. I've been talking to
I
Rex
know
about it.
Hans
He's
just smurfed on Draven, but I do think that was like a
yeah,
specifically very good comp. I think if Sivir pops up really high, then I think Draven will be really good. But I think if people go
yeah,
for other hyper carries, I don't think he's going to necessarily be as strong.
uh, yeah.
Um,
I agree with that.
all right, let's pull up the supports.
Veg,
And what
Veg.
else
This
did
is the
we
most veg
imagine?
champion on planet Earth, bro.
The Scrim support pool has fallen off drastically since Jake left. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean we do have PB and Aya who are both willing to pull out the Rel, which I think is fun.
It's a good
Both of
situational
them
pick.
just have really good knowledge of when is the right time to play champions like that.
Yeah,
So that should be pretty fun. But I do think on half of the teams we have pretty much just like stock standard like Enchantress plus 1 tank support in my pool players, which is
oh, the Yumi win rate's a little
kind
gross,
of
guys.
boring.
Don't look at that. That's details, bro.
Jesus. Oh no. Not the 0 and 5 Yumi.
Oh, it's 5 on Yumi, Jacob.
Okay, but Michael,
This is why I'm your number one hater,
why
bro.
is
Never
Michael
fucking mind. Hate is
correct?
deserved here, bro.
Oh,
That's crazy, dog.
corrects Michael bot lane. Dude,
100% your fault, bro. Oh my lord.
I don't know. I do think the fun part
Wait, I
about
won a
not
game
playing.
versus Rex on the fucking game, didn't I? Or am I tripping balls? Oh
What do
no,
you
no,
mean?
I think we lost this one. Never mind.
Kane?
No, no, go back to the Yumi game. Oh, we lost. Never
Yumi.
mind. I'm tripping balls.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know.
You have to open the Nami stats. No, this champion is fucking boring as balls, bro. You lose Nami half the time. It's so fucking
89%
veg.
with a Swain, a Ezreal, a Lucian, Caitlyn,
Okay.
Ash,
Okay, wait, never mind. He's
Zaya,
submerging.
Twitch, and then
Okay, but
Ezreal
like,
again, and then Lucian again. So only 2 duplicate champions. Mason, you're kind of lying here, but
I would
also
never
like
lie. What are you
0 and
talking about?
5 on Yumi, man. That is
True.
just that's a little embarrassing.
I'm always clowning on Jacob. I'm Jacob's number one hater this season. Don't worry
I
about
wasn't
it.
planning on clowning on Jacob until I saw him 5 Yumi.
Sure.
Oh, oh Lord. Highest KD supports Tom Kench. We have PB. I think it really just support meta comes down to whatever Aya and PB pick and Smurf on, and then everyone else is just going to play
It's
Lulu.
like
It's
enchanters,
just going to play
Nami,
these champions, and it's just
Lilia,
going to be like
Lulu,
perma asleep.
Soraka.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean, maybe if Psycho Cat gets picked up on a team, we get to see the Pike. He dropped a 20 bomb the other day, by the way. Like,
yeah. I think if
shit.
they ever like, if Rex ever flexes to support his Pike, is pretty lethal. But I don't know if that's ever happening.
Ooh,
Probably not worth
leaking
talking about. Team.
draft TM.
True, so true. He's so gonna flex to support, bro. On God.
True. All right. I think we can probably just cut to talking about the first week of matchups,
Yeah, I'm
and
down.
then probably try and wrap it up. I
Yeah,
think next time we do this next week, we will probably try to do some baked or based, but we'll see. I think that could be fun, but I'll have to put in a little
yeah.
legwork to get that set up, and I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. But
Agreed, agreed.
um, just gonna check out the rosters real quick, just for those who didn't see it. This is the Andromeda roster. We have, I think technically this is what they're looking to play the most of. So we have Adam,
Hmm.
Alana, Cam, Stanley, and Dave, with Russ, Dominic, and Manny being the subs. I've heard that this might also happen a few times, so we'll kind of have to see.
Yeah,
For this team, this is what they're going to play most of the time. Heroic, Jackson, Valor, Will, and Aya. And Steve, I know, played a few games mid. He played really fucking well, so that's someone to look out for. The Meta Busters is probably going to look like this most of the time. Silico and Joey is a sub that I think is going to happen a lot, and I think if that happens, we're likely to see a lineup more like this, where we have
yeah.
Joey in the top lane instead of Honan, and then we'll have Jacob down there. I think if you do run this lineup, we're going to see the least meta busting of all of them, but when you have Honan in the top, we're going to see Thresh, probably, and then Silico can play whatever he wants. I think we've seen some Nidalee ADC, Timo, Graves, a lot of different stuff,
Sure.
so pretty fun. Then the New York Nutbusters, Blake, Mike, Taxi, Alex, PB with Doki as a sub. This is going to be like whatever you want, like just swap out random people and like call that a team. Like we'll run whatever.
Yeah, that will be a
Um,
fun team to
yeah.
watch.
And then this team is
I'm
going to
playing
be
for sure.
this or this most likely, and then this can kind of fill as needed. Um,
Yeah,
Pretty
I
fun.
can
And then I
play for sure,
believe
guys. I
this sub is
promise.
also possible. So we could see
Yeah,
a lot of stuff like this.
I'm for sure
Um,
playing. Trust, team. Trust. I can
Surely.
go in. I
See,
promise.
if we go like this, and then we do, no.
That's crazy, bro. I literally can't sub in. Anyways, onwards to the
Surely,
matchups, team.
surely the roster that was pitched to me, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm actually not going to go on this team because this roster is. Oh wait, that one's not possible either. No way.
That's
No way. No way. The
crazy.
person I was trying to scout, and they were like, no, I want to play with me, Rex, and Hongbaba. And they're not allowed to. Whoa.
That's crazy, bro.
No way. Lies and deception is all I have to say. Okay, and then going into the schedule, these are the three games we want to look at. We have the Busters Brawl, or Buster Battle. I don't know, pick one, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it. Hype that shit up. This is going to be fun. We're going to have the
yeah.
New York Nut Busters versus the Meta Busters. We'll see who's going to bust harder, you know? Uh, we'll,
True. Oh
yeah.
my
I
lord.
think
Do we know if Silico's playing that game?
no clue. I this game might get changed. The dates might get swapped for this one. I believe these two
Okay.
games are all but confirmed to be happening
Okay.
as scheduled. This one might swap to Saturday, from what I know. But I think the jungle is probably going to be the most interesting lane to watch.
Agreed.
Mid could be pretty spicy, but I think the picks that we're going to see are going to be pretty normal. So it's just going to be like a Taxi versus Hadiri, who can play better, which I do
Yeah.
think will be fun, but I think it'll be like less interesting than I don't know. We can see like Aatrox versus Scion in the jungle. We
That'd
could
be
see
really
like
funny.
Akali versus like Rengar. Like I don't know. You can see literally anything, and I think this is going to be really fun, especially getting to see
Yeah.
these two teams adapt to each other throughout a best of three.
Yeah.
Mass Valorant Pirates versus Spectres has gone to the side of Spectres both times without draft being a factor. So I think that coming into play could be huge. And
We'll
then
have to see.
Andromeda versus Rift Sharks, I believe, played once in the tournament. I wasn't in that game, but I think our team did win. um, so I don't really
Okay.
know. We'll kind of have to
Andromeda wasn't
see.
playing with their full roster though, right?
They were on the first day.
Oh, they were.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe that game was like a 47-minute game too. So I don't think it's like
Oh,
a
it was a
draft.
slugfest. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this
Oh, I
goes. Do you
will
have?
say, when Spectres did like win every like did play their what is it qualification the Swiss rounds, they
Yeah.
were playing with Rex as their ADC, and then
For
they swapped to
3 out of the
Hong during the
4.
yeah, and then they
But
swapped to
Hong
Hong during
also
the
did play in one of the Swiss rounds too, though, and they did
okay
win that
okay
one. So
okay
they've won with both permutations of their roster that they played.
yeah
Or I guess combinations because it's different people.
yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, do you have any predictions for these games? I am just gonna run through it. I'm gonna call Rift Sharks is going to win because I'm like contractually obligated to say that.
Yeah, I will
Also,
say it's a lot closer
I
than
just
you
think we're
probably
gonna
think.
win.
I will say it's
Easy
probably
clap.
Rift Sharks favored. I am curious though. I think Andromeda has like a. It's not like I wouldn't even say it's like a 55-45. It's like a dead 50-50 for me. I'm just like flipping a coin, picking a random answer. Actually, I'll take Andromeda because Dean said Rift Shark. How about that? We'll
Okay,
do that. Actually, I
understandable.
think
Okay,
in Meta Busters versus New York
okay,
Nutbusters, I
you'll
think
do
there's
that
like
one.
some things to talk about in the top lane. It'll be Blake versus Joey. Joey has like the tank
Or Blake
pool
versus
to.
Honan. It could
Oh,
be.
is
There's
it
there's a few different
possible?
things because we don't know who's playing on the day.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
I think the champions Joey plays does like Ultra Fist the way Blake wants to play the game. He plays all the tank champions. Blake literally falls asleep and cries all fucking game about how he has to play versus tanks every fucking game. Yeah, man, it must suck for you. Wah, cry about it. Your champions are good, man. Relax. And then there's like the jungle matchup should be kind of fun. I think Noam actually has like a decent jungle pool. To give him credit, he played some of the Kane. He was playing a lot of Rammus. That champion got like astro nerfed, kind of dog shit now. But we'll have to see what he's willing to whip out. He did play like the Pantheon jungle, I think, last season. So it's like he has like he's willing to pull out some like unique stuff. And then Michael's also willing to pull out some of the unique stuff. So I'm pretty hyped about that. Should be a fun matchup to watch. And
yeah,
then
I mean, I think
mid
my
lane,
prediction if Silico's playing, I think it's going to be the Nutbusters topside versus the Silico AD carry
yeah,
lane. And I think
yeah,
if they're running a
I
different
agree.
roster, I think it kind of blows it up. And I think you could really see anything.
Yeah,
Because
I'm just
yeah,
excited to watch that. That should probably be the one of the more hype matchups.
yeah. I mean, it
Um,
is the Buster battle, you know. So,
yeah.
or I don't know. Has Twitch chat picked a different one? Like,
Noam is saying that Silico's not our ADC. I I didn't say anything about that, bro.
isn't
That's all
that
I'm saying.
that's what it says? Like, that's what you told me. Like, my bad for
I
assuming you're
don't make
not
the rules,
lying
man.
to.
What can I say?
Silica's our support. Jacob's our ADC. Oh, uh,
All right, well, I guess we can move on to
yeah.
Mass Pirates versus
I
Specters.
mean, my take is Pirates wins because they get to draft.
You think so?
They got turbo gapped in draft in the blind pick games, so I don't
That is
know.
true. How did the drafts go in the tournament draft
Here,
section?
we will. I'll pull it up real quick.
Because I am curious. I think.
Oh, they didn't draft against each other because
Oh, they
they
didn't.
no.
Yeah, I know that, but like, how did they draft in general? That's what I wanted to know.
Um,
Because I think Valor did
Here
do
I'll pull
like
it
a
up.
decent job of drafting last season.
Valor
So I don't
wasn't
know where this,
Valor
I don't know where
wasn't doing
Noam is
his
getting
team's
this.
drafts
Yeah,
because he wasn't
I
playing. So
who was doing his team's drafts then? Isla? Io?
I think Jackson had the
Oh,
links at least. So
okay,
I
okay,
don't know.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going
I have no idea
to.
about that, but we'll have to see. I guess I don't think Spectres is that bad at drafting though. I I do think putting Lucian Nami in the hands of Hong is probably worse than Rex's Lucian, but that's like a difference of opinion. Talk to both of them about it, but
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull
You're
up.
sitting on a
oh, I and Heroic handled draft that day. Thank you,
Yes,
Valor.
gotcha.
Um, I don't know what they drafted. They won, so I'm assuming they drafted decently,
They
or they just
drafted
played better.
well. I mean, okay, I will say for our game, um, if I had simply opened any stats website and seen that Maokai was 55% win rate,
Oh,
we
you
would
guys
have
lost to
we
Malcolm
would have banned it and done something different.
Bench.
We also just like misplayed every single lane. Like
Yeah, that
we
makes
just
sense.
lost every match. We just didn't play well. And
Yeah,
drafts was like a little bit rough for whatever reason.
that makes
I'm
sense.
trying to find. Um, I keep opening up the wrong VOD. I'm trying to find what the drafts or like what the games were between
Yeah,
for the Valorant Pirates and Spectres
I will say though,
in the
Noah,
other games.
480. That is literally just a communication gap, not a draft difference. I think Valor showed a lot of value in the way he was willing to draft last season. If you ever talk to him after like draft and stuff, or like after games and stuff, I think
Oh, okay, I found
the
it.
ideas he had for draft, I pretty solidly agreed with me and Dean as well. So I think there's like a lot of potential, and if Heroic and Aya know what they're doing in draft as well, I think that has a lot of value as well. So
Okay, yeah. So
very
for the
sneaky team.
first game between the Valorant Pirates and Spectres, we had Jax versus Darius in the top lane. Heroic absolutely slammed this matchup. That one was in their favor. We had
Mm-hmm.
Maokai into Udyr. Not great for the Maokai.
Udyr's favored in that matchup,
Right.
but
And
yeah,
then we had Vex into Syndra. Bad for Vex. And then we
yeah,
had Kate Lux into Draven Lulu. That
uh-huh.
sucks because you can't ban the Draven because it's blind pick.
Hmm.
And then I also feel like Will was just kind of testing the waters a little bit. I think he has
Hmm.
some champions that he's way more consistent on. So I think
Yeah.
once they're kind of playing towards that, I think that helps him out a lot. And then
Oh,
if
are these the stats from the Spectres games?
I am just playing
Oh,
with the VOD and looking at it, and then
okay.
the second matchup between Valorant Pirates and Spectres, it was again top lane was very favored in the Valorant Pirates' favor. They had Camille into Ornn,
Yeah, that
which
should
is
be
really
Camille's
good.
favor.
But then they were playing Trundle into Udyr, which is bad. And then they were playing Kassadin into Syndra, which that one kind of went either way. But bot
Yeah.
lane, they were playing Varus Twitch into a Zeri Yumi. uh,
Oh, wait, that's the game Hong played, right?
Again, these are things you can ban if you actually have draft, and you're probably not going to keep picking losing matchups into an Udyr, or you're just going to ban the Udyr.
Nah, the Swedish Champions League. Don't ban it.
Okay,
Good choice, Theo.
whatever.
Trust.
But and anyway, I do think a lot of the reason that Valorant Pirates wasn't able to get a win there was simply just not having the ability to draft. So I think getting to activate that will help them out a lot. So my
Okay.
predictions are Nutbusters 2-1, Valorant Pirates 2-1, and Riffsharks 2-0. Let's fucking go.
Okay. Oh, we're
We'll
doing like
send it.
games as well.
Yeah, sure. For the
Okay.
culture.
All right, I'll do some hotter takes since Dean wants to be Mr. 2-1 over here. I'll say New York Nutbuster 2-0 is Meta Busters. I think Valorant Pirates versus Spectres is a 2-1. And I'll
For who?
say
Who do you think's
uh
winning?
Pirates.
No faith in your
I
own
will
team, SMH.
I have no faith in Hong being a
But
fill in the blank there. TM.
what if
Uh
Hong loses the first game, then gets benched for Rex, and then they 2-1? Do you have
that'd be
faith in
funny.
that?
I believe in that, but like I don't know. We'll have to see. I will say
So
I think
you
it's
think
gonna be
Spectre's 2-1 if Rex plays, and
yeah, that.
MVP 2-1 if he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah. I'm okay with them like subbing in Hong for a game, testing the waters. I think that's a valid strategy as well. But
Subbing in their main player.
true. Um, I think I'm so torn on this Andromeda versus Rift Sharks matchup. I think it's 2-1 Andromeda. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll have to see.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is I learned my lesson last season about throwing the first game of the season into Zach's drafts. Like, surely I will not
No,
be able to
I
mess
think
this
I
up
think that made
another
us a
time.
better team though. Hold on. I think us throwing that first game was super important for us becoming a better team. Come on, bro.
Okay, but also I've learned my lesson. It's simply maybe I'll throw the entire season because of this, but surely I will not draft get myself again. Anyway,
Surely.
It's not a best of one this time, thank God.
Yeah, I think
So
best of three is going to be a lot of fun to watch. A
yeah,
lot of fun matchups this week.
yes. All right. Well, we are coming to about an hour, so I
I
think
think
it's
it's a good
a
spot.
good time to end it. Kind
Yeah,
of covered everything, so we'll see who gets the predictions right or whatever. How
I should
about
be able to
how
count
about we'll
game
do
one.
we'll do if anyone perfect predict
Gift of skin
epic skin,
thoughts.
epic skin. All right.
Okay. For
Yeah.
any game or
No, for all three. Because we'll
did
do
you
we'll
write
do
down
it
what we
throughout
did
the
then?
season. It's on the VOD. All
Okay,
right.
true. All right.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week, same time, most likely. All right. Take care. Watch the games when they happen. Good night.